The power of self-compassion, embracing kindness for a happier and less anxious life. In today's fast-paced and demanding world, it's easy to forget to show ourselves the same compassion and empathy we extend to others. But what if I told you that embracing self-compassion could lead to a happier, more fulfilling life? Well, it's true, and today we will explore the power of self-compassion and how it can positively impact your overall well-being and your anxiety recovery. Self-compassion is about treating ourselves with the same exact kindness and care and understanding that we would show to a loved one. It involves acknowledging our imperfections and mistakes without judgment. And it also involves embracing our humanity. When we practice self-compassion, we cultivate a positive relationship with ourselves. We learn to be more understanding and forgiving, and that inner critic inside us gradually softens. We become more resilient and we're able to face the challenges in our day, and our self-worth and our self-esteem improve. Now, as you know, with anxiety, whether it be a social anxiety, health anxiety, OCD, panic disorder, or even generalized anxiety, these conditions can make life very hard and cause our inner critic to get very loud. And my goal today is to dive into practical strategies and techniques that can help you cultivate self-compassion and create a more loving and compassionate relationship with yourself. So if you're new to this idea of self-compassion, let's first define what self-compassion is. Self-compassion is about treating ourselves with the same kindness, care, and understanding that we would show a loved one. It involves acknowledging our imperfections and mistakes without judgment and embracing our humanity. Now, when we practice self-compassion, we cultivate a positive relationship with ourselves. We learn to be more understanding and forgiving, and that inner critic inside us gradually softens. We become more resilient in the face of challenges, and our self-worth and self-esteem improve. Now, self-compassion is not about self-pity or self-indulgence. It is about recognizing our common humanity and understanding that we all make mistakes and face challenges. It's about being kind and supportive to ourselves, especially during the difficult times. And by embracing self-compassion, we can free ourselves from the constant pressure to perfect and allow ourselves to be authentic and vulnerable. Now, there are many benefits of practicing self-compassion, and the results of this can be far-reaching. Research has shown that individuals who regularly practice self-compassion experience higher levels of well-being and life satisfaction. They're more likely to engage in healthy behaviors, they have better mental health, they experience lower levels of stress and anxiety, and one of the key benefits is self-compassion's role in fostering resilience. Now, when we are kind towards ourselves, we are usually better able to bounce back from major setbacks, which we know there are a lot in recovery. And instead of beating ourselves up over mistakes, we can learn from them and grow from them and make us stronger. Now, self-compassion also plays a critical role in our relationship with others. When we're practicing compassion towards ourselves, we're actually more likely to show compassion towards others. We become better listeners. We become more empathetic. We become more understanding. And this, in turn, leads to more healthy relationships that are more fulfilling. So let's talk about self-compassion and self-esteem, because this is an important concept. Now, while self-compassion and self-esteem are related, they're not the same thing. Self-compassion is about evaluating ourselves positively, feeling good about ourselves, having a feeling of self-worth. And it's usually based on external factors such as achievement, appearance, or even social status. Now, on the other hand, self-compassion is about being kind and understanding towards ourselves, regardless of the achievement or the external circumstance. It's about accepting ourselves as a flawed human being, which we are, and embracing those imperfections. Self-compassion is not contingent on success or meeting standards. Research suggests that self-compassion may be a more stable and nurturing source of self-worth compared to self-esteem. And while self-esteem may fluctuate depending on external factors, self-compassion is an unconditional sense of love and acceptance towards ourselves. Now, there are so many benefits to practicing self-compassion, and these have been widely researched. Researchers such as Kristen Neff and Paul Gilbert, who have been on our podcast on Your Anxiety Toolkit, I'll link those in the show notes, they have found that practicing self-compassion activates areas of the brain associated with positive emotions and well-being. It also reduces activity in the areas of the brain associated with self-criticism and negative emotions. And they've also shown that self-compassion is linked to lower levels of stress hormones, actual stress hormones in the body such as cortisol, and it has also been found to enhance the functioning of our immune system. It improves cardiovascular health, and we've also shown for it to be promoting overall physical well-being. Now, the scientific evidence shows the support that self-compassion is not just fluff, right? It's not a fluffy concept. It has real, tangible benefits for our physical and mental health. So, how do we practice self-compassion? How can we do this in a way that is long-lasting? Cultivating self-compassion is a journey, believe me, and it requires practice and patience, and it has to be a priority that you put in the forefront of every single day. Now, I personally have recently gone through a very, very difficult season. I'm not totally ready to share about it publicly yet, but I have found myself beating myself up day in, day out for several weeks in a row. I just couldn't stop, and I was so stuck in self-blame and self-shame. And it wasn't until I started to become aware of this, I didn't even catch it for several weeks, and realize how much time it was taking, that I made a commitment to myself that no more. There's no more. I promised myself I am no longer allowed to talk to myself this way. I'm no longer allowed to say one unkind word to myself. None, nothing. I went cold turkey, and it totally paid off. In fact, a large degree of my anxiety dropped immediately. And I was shocked at how much anxiety was being fueled by this criticism and blame. And I know I've talked about this all the time, but I'm a human too. I still am on this journey with you. So what I'm going to ask is, can you make that commitment to yourself? Can you commit to being gentle with yourself instead of mean and critical? Can you make this a goal that you are going to stick with and declare it? I had to declare it to my whole family and say, enough is enough. I cannot do this anymore. So if you're on board, excellent, let's do this. Now that I have you on the goal with me, let's go over some practical strategies and techniques that can help you cultivate self-compassion in your daily life. Now, number one is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness involves being present in the moment, with non-judgment. You're going to be observing your thoughts and your emotions. And by practicing mindfulness, we can become aware of our self-critical thoughts and replace them with more compassionate and supporting ones. Now, if you want help with this, you can go back and listen to the 380 plus episodes of Your Anxiety Toolkit and learn many ways in which you can practice mindfulness in your anxiety recovery. Number 2 is challenge your inner critic. Notice when your inner critic is being harsh, judgmental towards yourself. And I encourage you to keep a journal and write down every harsh thing you say to yourself. And when you catch them, I want you to challenge those negative thoughts by asking yourself, what would I say to a loved one if they were in this position? Number 3 is I want you to replace self-criticism with a self-compassionate statement. The easiest way to do this is to ask yourself, how would I treat that loved one, right? What are the exact words I would use towards them? And write it down. So instead of saying you suck at this, you'll never be good at this, you might try saying, you'll learn with practice. Keep going, my love. I'm here for you, right? That's how I would speak to my child. If you hear in your voice a comment like, you can't do this, you're too weak, you might say, yeah, this is really hard, but today's a beautiful day to do hard things and I deserve to be gentle as I try to do this brave thing. I don't need to be perfect. I can just try and learn, right? And also remind myself, maybe this won't be easy, but that's okay. You can just take a baby step one at a time and it will pay off, right? So number 4 is practice self-care. Take time to prioritize your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Engage in activities that bring you joy and relaxation. Be kind to yourself by getting enough rest, eating nourishing foods, and engaging in self-care rituals. Number 5 is celebrate your wins. Put aside some time every day to celebrate your wins, big or small. You deserve to celebrate all of your hard work that you're doing and keep a journal, maybe even as well, of all the brave things that you've done today, even if they're easy for others. Just marvel in how you are growing each and every day. Number 6 is seek support. Reach out to trusted friends, family, loved ones, or professionals. We want to be around those who are compassionate and provide a sense of comfort for us. Sometimes sharing your struggles with others can give us a fresh perspective, and we can also find out that we're not alone. Even though they haven't been through exactly what you're going through, they're going to have some understanding of what it's like to feel sad or shamed or disappointed or angry, right? So embrace self-compassion with a place of self-acceptance as well. Now, let's talk about integrating self-compassion into your daily life. Now, integrating self-compassion into our daily life requires a conscious effort and intention. Like I said before, it has to be at the forefront of your mind, or your anxiety and your inner critic is going to always be louder and more powerful. Here are some practical ways to incorporate self-compassion into your daily routine. One idea is to start with a self-compassion practice at the very beginning of the day. Set aside a few minutes each morning to practice self-compassion. This could be through meditation, journaling, simply reminding yourself of your inherent worth, and embracing the day with kindness and love. Now, don't forget, you can go to cbtschool.com and purchase the Meditation Vault. It's only $34. It has got over 30 guided meditations recorded by me to help you with your self-compassion practice, specifically if you're someone who struggles with intrusive thoughts, anxiety, depression, OCD, or any struggles around that area. Another important practice is to practice self-compassion during challenging moments. When we face difficulties or setbacks, pause. offer yourself words of encouragement and support. Remind yourself that we all make mistakes, that it's a natural part of life, and see if you can practice treating yourself like you would a friend. This one is super important. Engage in self-compassionate acts as well. Engage in acts of compassion, and this can involve, it doesn't just have to be the soft, mushy stuff. It's not just self-care. It might also involve doing the really hard thing, going to therapy, doing your therapy homework, reading books on anxiety recovery. It's you doing anything that, helps you with the long-term recovery, right? P.S. It's what you're doing right now. You're listening to this podcast. You're investing in your long-term recovery. So go you. Self-compassion exercises and techniques that might help you. We've already gone through a numerous number of exercises and techniques that you can use. However, there is one activity I want to send you off with to do for homework. It's one I love to do, and I'm going to encourage you to try it. I want you to take around 30 minutes and write yourself a self-compassion letter. You're going to write this letter from a place of self-compassion, acknowledging your struggles, validating your emotions, offering words of kindness, understanding, and encouragement. Remind yourself of your self-worth. Remind yourself that you are someone who deserves to struggle sometimes. And this is just an individual experience, but one that many people have had. Now, this is going to be so important for you, and I want you to practice it at least once, preferably more than that. In a world that really values overachievement and perfection, it's easy to forget the importance of self-compassion. However, by embracing compassion, we can unlock the power to live this more happy, fulfilling life. Self-compassion allows us to be kind and understanding towards ourselves, even in the face of challenges and setbacks. And it helps us to develop resilience, improve our relationships, enhance our overall well-being. Remember, self-compassion is not a destination. It's an ongoing journey. It's not a one and done, and it requires practice and patience and a ton of self-acceptance. Embrace self-compassion. Make a commitment to it. And you will probably see how much it can transform your life. I hope that you start today by being kinder and gentler with your step, every step of the way. Thank you for being here with me, and I am sending you so much love. I'll see you next week.